Is this heaven?
No, it's a podcast. Welcome to the Field of Geeks podcast.
Welcome to episode 169 of the Field of Geeks podcast. I'm Josh.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Steve.
All right. How's it going? We got Steve back. This is awesome.
Boo.
Try to get Joey.
Returns.
Couldn't do it. Mitch is out on assignment. So.
Oh, yeah, on assignment, right?
Yeah. Hey, sounds good, right? He's driving some celebs. I don't know. Yeah.
I've been on an assignment for months, and I have not brought back anything productive. So the assignment.
But you don't give up though. That's good. You're still there.
Right. Exactly.
How was Baghdad? No, I'm kidding.
It was good. Real good this time of year. I like it.
Yeah.
Get a little warm.
Oh, so have you guys seen anything lately you'd like to talk about before we get into the main show? Recommendations, if you will.
Steve, did you see anything?
I have not seen anything.
Is that good?
I'm currently watching the X-Files for like the fourth time and the 1970s version of Hawaii Five-0. So nothing anyone gives two shits about.
Well, maybe on the retro show, right?
Right, maybe. We'll do that. I should be watching Star Trek, but everything I've heard, I'm too afraid to even open it up. So
I know we gotta record on some Star Trek, so I want you to cry on air as we talk about it. It'd be really fascinating. So no, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. I don't think so.
Right.
Especially when you have all these other shows doing it so much better. It's just it's like, really?
Yeah, too bad.
It's a pain in the ass.
How about you, Megan? What are you watching?
So I just watched The Woman in the Window, which is on Netflix. And then I also watched The Trial of the Chicago 7, which is also on Netflix.
Fantastic. What's The Woman in the Window about?
Yeah, where's she at?
Right?
She in the window?
So it has Amy Adams. And actually, I just looked this up. And it has Gary Oldman in it, and I did not know that. And
wow.
I think I know the character he plays, but he's in he's in very good makeup. It doesn't even look like him at all.
Wow.
I went that whole movie.
He's such a chameleon.
Yeah, he is.
I went that whole movie without even knowing that he was the guy who played that.
Wow.
He plays Alistair Russell in that movie, but it's a psychological thriller. It follows this woman. She has a specific condition. I can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to, but she can't go outside. She can't go outside. She doesn't want to go outside.
Oh, sure.
And she basically keeps tabs on all of the neighbors. So she just watches people through her windows, but specifically this new family that moved in, and they're called the Russells. And so she sees something without giving it away that kind of tests her mental stability, but then also later in the movie tests her condition. And you think that you kind of understand what's going on, and then it's got a lot of pops, right? So like, what do they call that? Scare, or like it
jump
spooks
scares?
you. Thank you.
Thriller, or whatever. Yeah.
Yes. It's got a couple of those in it. A couple of them got me for sure. But it just doesn't end the way that you think it's going to end. There's just some things that happen in it. So I think it's definitely worth watching. It's on the top 10 list for Netflix. So.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, I'll check that out. That without me knowing what she saw, it sounds like Rear Window. Did you ever see Rear Window? James Stewart. It's an old Alfred Hitchcock movie, and then it was remade in the 90s with Christopher Reeve. Did you guys ever see that one? It just sounds familiar. Steve, have you?
I don't think I have, no.
Really? Okay. Interesting. Well,
I worked on the original Hitchcock version.
Yeah?
But I didn't ever see the final product.
Right. You're Stewart's body double. Is that right?
Right.
Yes.
I'm old.
That's cool though. I like that. That sounds really interesting. Oh yeah, Gary Oldman, of course. Yeah, he is a chameleon. Like Bram Stoker's Dracula is the first introduction I ever had of him, and yeah, I was just like, wow, this guy's intense.
Mason Verger and Hannibal. I mean, he was,
oh yeah, that was creepy AF. Yeah.
Just he's so good at anything.
Yeah, Commissioner Gordon. Oh, Churchill, of course. Can't remember the film he was in. He got the Oscar for it. Shoot, it's a good film though. He played Churchill, and a lot of prosthetics, obviously, like fat bastard makeup. From.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I'll have to check that out. I like that. Yeah, you also said you saw the trial of Chicago 7?
Yes.
What is that for people who don't know, I guess? The premise, I guess. I haven't, don't know too much about it myself.
Well, let me first tell you who's in it.
Sure.
So that way I buy myself some time here.
Clever.
So it's got Sacha Baron Cohen in it. Eddie, I can never pronounce his last name. Is it Redmayne or Redman? How does he pronounce that?
I think you're right. Redmayne.
Redmayne?
Yeah.
Okay. It has John Carroll Lynch, who was the guy that I couldn't figure out his name. Michael Keaton, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I'm just naming. Mark Rylance. Do you know how to say his name? Probably not. I don't either. So it's a movie based off of true events, though. Not everything in it is actual fact. So we have to remember that.
Sure.
But it is a American historical legal drama film that follows a group of anti-Vietnam War protesters charged with conspiracy and crossing state lines with the intention of inciting riots at the 1968 Democratic National Convention in Chicago. So I'm terrible at history, but in a nutshell, it's basically these gentlemen, so a group of 7, were listed as the leaders of different groups, but also were charged with inciting riots that happened in Chicago during that time. It was also the switch of an administration. So you had a Democratic president and then the switch over to a Republican president. And so at the time that these events occurred, the attorney general, who was within the Democratic Party at the time, who was played by Michael Keaton, talks about how they weren't going to press charges because they found in their investigation that it was the Chicago police that actually initiated these riots and not these free thinkers. But the Republican, so Nixon, really wanted to go after these individuals because they were trying to stop the Vietnam War, or at least shed light on, how we should probably pull out of there. And it just didn't look good. It didn't look good because that's not what they were trying to spread across the nation, propaganda, right?
Exactly. So
there's basically this whole trial, and the way that you watch it, it's actually really, really upsetting. And I don't know how true it is. I'll have to look into it. I think there was an article about it, but the judge, it was almost like it was a plot to basically put these people in prison no matter what. You watch this guy's lawyer, and he was charged with, I think it said at the very end, 24 counts of contempt. He couldn't even speak. He couldn't even speak for things that it was a circus. And the judge,
like it.
It's really worth watching. It's a 2-hour movie, but I think it's worth it, and it flies by. So,
and that's written by Aaron Sorkin, I believe, who did The West Wing. I think he was nominated for this film, maybe screenplay. Is there a lot of walking and talking? He's really good at that type of dialogue in his.
He also, he plays the judge, right?
The judge, and I know him, but I just can't think of his name.
Frank Langella. Oh, God, what's his name?
Frank. Oh, how do you say it? Franklin, Langella. Don't come for me.
Oh yeah.
He's been in movies for a really long time.
He's a great actor.
He plays Julius Hoffman.
And he was in Dave, I think, which was another Aaron Sorkin film, or written by him, I believe. That was a long time ago, but he played the vice president. Yeah, Franklin Langella. I don't know. He's a good actor. He's a veteran actor. He's been in a lot of things. He actually was in Frost Nixon. He played Nixon That was the Ron Howard movie, which came out, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. But yeah, great actor. And he was Perry White in Superman Returns, if we're thinking of the same person.
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I love my courtroom dramas, especially with like Michael Keaton. Can't go wrong with that. So.
Yes, and he definitely Michael Keaton plays the type of a character that you expect him to play.
Yeah. Like Batman.
Yeah, like Batman.
With a suit. That's cool. All right. Well, that sounds great. Yeah, that film got a lot of critical acclaim. Cruel Summer is a show I've seen or am watching currently. It's on Hulu and Freeform, I guess. It's another streaming service, I believe, but it's a mystery of a show. It centers around two teenage girls, and it rotates between it's Jeanette and Katie. Jeanette's kind of a geeky girl, or starts out that way, let's say, and Katie's a popular girl. So it's through their viewpoints over like the same day, over the course of 3 years, 93, 94, 95. And Megan, I know you've seen this show, right? Or you're watching it currently. It's not over yet.
Right. Yeah. No, it's 3 different timelines.
Yeah, what got me to watch this show was Kevin Smith's daughter, Harley Quinn Smith, is in it, and she plays one of the friends to both of them, actually. Ends up.
Really?
Well, yeah, the last episode or so, she was Katie's friend. She started out with being Jeanette's friend, so yeah, she...
Let me look her up, because I probably know who you're talking about, but I can't... Who does she play? She
plays Jeanette's friend. I don't know her character's name.
Yeah, Mallory.
Yes, that's her. That's Kevin Smith's
his
daughter. Yeah.
Shut up.
She's actually a good actress. She actually is.
She is a good actress. She's a good actress to the point that I dislike her character. I dislike it.
Yeah, I liked her more in the beginning, but it's really interesting how it's told. Like, yeah, it's told through like three years, and it just goes to show you how much things can change in that amount of time. You know, like innocence gets lost, and especially with kids. And every year has its own color palette, if you will. Not just with the style, but like the 95, which is maybe the grunge era. It's got a blue tint to it. It's just kind of dark, and that does help you tell. Because it goes all over the place with the years. You go back to all these other points, and I think it's a really good way of, telling without saying it, although they do say it too, like this is 93, 94, but sometimes they don't. But it's very, very addicting show to watch. It's, like I said, it's not done yet. I believe it's 7 episodes total, and 5 have aired so far. But yeah, love it. Every episode there's a cliffhanger. It's just a great mystery. Yeah, basically, Katie was kidnapped. Jeanette kind of took her place in the popular community. Katie returned, and this isn't a big spoiler, but she's basically saying Jeanette could have freed her from her captor at one point. And so it's like they're going up against each other, and, lawsuits are happening because you got kind of Jeanette's family's poor, and then Katie's family's very wealthy. So you have that dynamic, popularity in the town. It's a small fictional town in Texas. But yeah, I'm loving the show. I'm really happy for Harley Quinn Smith. Like, this is great to have on your resume, this show. And yeah, it's very good. I really enjoy it. Any thoughts from you, Megan, on the show? Other thoughts?
No, I think you pretty much nailed it.
I nailed it.
Nailed it.
I'm excited. I don't know where it's going, and that's good television to me, or, that's a good movie to me as well. So yeah. I mentioned this on the last episode, but there's another show I'm following right now, and it's Mayor of Easttown. I don't know if you've seen that, Megan. Maybe you have, on HBO Max. It's very similar, kind of, but it's it's not. They're both mysteries, let's say. Good show. There's a lot of good shows on right now. There's so many that I'm behind on these. So these recommendations help me, kind of like, oh yeah, I need to check that out. So hopefully, for all of you listening, that this will help you pick out something to watch when you're bored, I guess, or looking for something. So, let's move into news now. Venom 2 trailer dropped. Are you guys big fans of the first Venom?
I was. I mean, I remember going into the theater not really understanding what I'd expect and came out like really wanting the second one, and then we waited forever.
Yeah, it's been a while. What about you, Steve?
I liked it so much that I never saw it.
Oh my
Really?
God.
You never did?
I never did.
I thought you did.
I was going to, and nope, I did not see Venom.
Because I know we had Terrell
It's
on
on
the
a
show.
streaming service now, isn't it?
I don't know.
know.
I'm not sure.
I think
Not.
it's on Prime or something.
It could be. Yeah. Well, check it out. Yeah. It's look, it's not like MCU level or anything like that. And not to say everything has to be that level. To me it was a mess, but it was enjoyable. Like I liked the movie for what it was. There's a lot of behind the scenes drama, so there was like, certain developments that didn't play through like it should have, but it ended up making like almost 900 million at the box office. So it was a huge hit.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah, and Sony, they're trying to set up their own universe, kind of like the MCU. So they got Morbius coming, which should have been here already, but the pandemic. So that's supposed to be coming out, I would assume, this year still. Venom was obviously their first try and was very successful. They had, I think it was, what was it? Deadshot? Was it? No, I don't think it was Deadshot. What the hell was that? Had Vin Diesel in it. It did not, I don't think it did too well. Shit, I can't remember. Not worth mentioning, probably. Spider-Man, they'll probably be handling stories after the MCU involvement, if that's ever going to be. They keep adjusting the contract, so MCU gets to use more and more of Spidey, and I think eventually Spider-Man's going to be on Disney Plus, so it's with all the other MCU films. I think they struck a deal there, and obviously you got the third Tom Holland Spider-Man coming our way. And that's supposed to be huge. There's rumors that all Spider-Man are involved. So, and all villains, most villains from talking to the Tobey Maguire films and Andrew Garfield. So, yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
It's going to be a huge film. Yeah. I think it needs to be like 4 hours long probably to be satisfying. Because I don't know how you're going to cram all that in, It's already challenging enough to have two villains, And, I mean, look at Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2. Those just, a collision of villains, and the story just kind of suffered for it. And so hopefully, I mean, it's MCU, so I'm sure they're going to be able to make do. But yeah, Sony's building their universe, and Venom 2, I think it's, oh my gosh, what is it? Release the Carnage, I think that's the subtitle to it. Venom Release the Carnage. So that was teased at the end of the first Venom, was Carnage, which is the red symbiote. Woody Harrelson, of course, is playing that part. Now, these aren't huge spoilers. He was cast for this part, like, as they're doing the first film. So they didn't really tackle too much of that. But yeah, this film, he's front and center, basically going up with Tom Hardy's Venom. And it looks like there's another symbiote in play. I don't know too much about the symbiotes in the comic industry, but the movie itself, I mean, it looks fun. It looks just like the first one. It's probably, hopefully, more well put together, I'd say. It's kind of cool how he's trying to go, he's like so many days without eating people. I thought that was pretty funny in his apartment. He's got that sign.
Funny. Yeah.
And there's like a little banter with the, I don't know if it's Mrs. Chow in the drugstore or whatever. Venom likes chocolate, and she said the chocolate's not in, and he asked Tom Hardy, can we eat her? I was like, whoa, this is dark. Don't do that. Yeah, but it looks good. I mean, Woody Harrelson's in it, so I think it looks like it's going to be a good follow-up to the first one. I'm actually shocked Tom Hardy's back. To me, it doesn't feel like a guy to me that would sign up for sequels, He just kind of likes to do, his film and move on. But apparently he really likes the character, I'm guessing, and I'm sure the money's good, so... he's.
Right.
I'm sure there'll be another one after this if this one is successful. But yeah, Megan, what were your thoughts on the trailer itself compared to the first movie, and just what do you see that piques your interest?
I feel like you watched it in such greater detail than I did.
Well, I watched it a couple times, but yeah, was there anything in the trailer that you like? Did you like seeing certain oh gosh, what, Michelle Williams, is that her name? I was surprised she was back. I didn't think she was going to come back.
I just like Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
I thought that's a the the beginning of the trailer was funny with him making food in the kitchen, and then it's just a pile of food slop, and he says yummy, or Venom says yummy. I thought that was a little bit of slapstick, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
they're like roommates, but in one body. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Perfect strangers.
Which I kind of liked. I remember towards the end of the first one, as they were starting to understand each other a little bit better, and that's kind of throughout the film, but really towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that relationship, I think, is entertaining in itself.
Yeah, it's a good dynamic, and yeah, of course, if Tom Hardy's committed to it, which he is, he's
who
a good
voices
actor.
Venom?
I think it's Tom Hardy. I think they just change his voice up. Yeah, they just muddle it. I think double. He gets double pay for that probably, so he probably insisted.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's him. Which makes sense if he's in the body, because he doesn't have a voice. I think until it goes into him. So yeah, it looks good. I'm excited, and at first I wasn't really, Sony. I was like, they don't have a good track record for doing things, but of course they've had the Spider-Man multiverse cartoon film or animated film, if you will, and that was successful. So yeah, they've actually done some good stuff. And of course, in the past they did too with the Tobey Maguire ones and Andrew Garfield. If for those who like Andrew Garfield, I liked his first one, Amazing Spider-Man. But
yeah, I did too.
Yeah,
I never saw it.
Never saw it. Really?
Nope.
Emma Stone was awesome in that. She was a great Gwen Stacy. So there's rumors that she may be in this new one too, which I hope so. But side note, Cruella looks fantastic. I don't know if you've seen the trailers to that. She's in that as a young Cruella DeVille, but man, it's like Joker approach to a Disney villain, if you will. That's what it feels like. Looks good.
That trailer never captured my attention.
Really?
At all.
Really?
No, I don't plan on seeing it. It just does not look like something I would enjoy.
I just can't get over her, because later on she's like obsessed with like killing puppies for coats, and it's like, I don't know if I can like this person. But yet, how can I like the Joker? So, it's like, good point. He just doesn't kill dogs, and I'm okay with that, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe it was lacking depth. I don't know. Steve, did you see the trailer for it?
I actually did not see it.
Okay. Well, if you do see it, let me know if you agree, because it lacks so much for me.
It's like
there's nothing that draws me in.
It's very artsy.
Yeah.
Like it's grand. It's kind of like it kind of looks like an Oscar bait, if you will. It's probably not going to be, but it's just the approach, and it's it's a period piece as well. So I guess you could say Glenn Close. This could be a young Glenn Close version. Who knows? But yeah, it looks good. It's just like, like I said, it's like same approach they did with Joker. Of course, it's not rated R. It's still a Disney film, so they're not going to go there. She's not like going to be doing cocaine or anything like that, or maybe, I don't know.
That's too bad.
That's too
then
bad.
I might watch
Steve's like
it.
not
Then
interested.
I might watch it.
Yeah, forget it.
If she's a part of some sort of drug cartel, I'm down.
There you go. For the makers of Breaking Bad, Cruella, drug queen. There you go. Sony, yeah, they're doing pretty well. Morbius looks good. You've probably seen that trailer, haven't you, Steve?
Yeah, I've seen that one. I can't wait. I've loved the character ever since the 70s.
Sweet. So, could you tell us real quick in a gist, like who is Morbius?
So Morbius, I want to say his first name is Michael Morbius. I think Jerry Conway created. Roy Thomas, I think, created him, and it was like in the early 70s, like 70 or 71 or 2. Anyway, he was a doctor, like a medical doctor, and his whole thing was he got these abilities and traits, and his whole premise is just trying to cure himself. But of course, that always fails because then there's no more character, right?
Right. There's no more movie or comic.
Yeah, so he's kind of a tragic villain / sometimes hero.
Sure.
They call him an anti-hero. I mean, there's times where he does things on the side of good, and then there's other times where he's just out of control and he's got the bloodlust, so to speak. But he's an interesting character. In the last, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 iterations of his appearances in Marvel comics have been more towards the anti-hero side. So he's not necessarily, like fighting Spider-Man all the time or anything like that.
Right.
But yeah, so it's he's a really cool character, man. And I grew up loving vampires and all that stuff, so I always thought he was pretty cool. It was the first villain in comics I ever liked.
Nice. I wonder if they'll, because MCU's got the Blade property, so I wonder if they'll cross him over. Maybe if
that would be freaking sweet.
That would be, because
that'd be cool.
I don't know if you know this, but the first Blade with Wesley Snipes, there was a deleted scene that was supposed to be at the end when they're on the rooftop. They look over across another building, and that is Morbius over there, I guess. He's got like armor on and stuff, but I didn't really know who that was at the time. But I've heard recently that was him, and they just decided, I guess, it would be too much for people to be like, what the hell is that? So they just decided to not do it. But that would be cool. That'd be cool. It'd be very interesting, because I think this Morbius Sony film is rated R. I'm guessing. I think the MCU's Blade will be PG-13 probably. So that'd be very interesting how they do that.
And it's funny because in the comics, spoiler alert, Blade has killed Morbius in the past.
Oh.
Morbius got resurrected at some point.
Sure.
Of course, because it's comics. But they have had an ongoing feud in the comics. So, to see it convert to the screen would be awesome.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, I think Jared Leto's doing a good job. from what I can see in the trailer, it looks very good. So I hope. I think we'll get to see it this year. I think. I don't know. It looks like it's not. It seems like
he's good casting for that.
Yeah. The trailer was really, I think, well received, and people were anxious, and it just didn't happen, because of the pandemic. But hopefully we'll be getting that very soon. We're finally getting another Superman film, except it won't be a Henry Cavill Superman film. Good idea, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
We've all seen the Snyder Cut, and I think we all liked it. Steve, we didn't even really get your thoughts, but what overall did you enjoy the Snyder Cut?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. We watched it, boy. I think it was only on HBO Max a couple days, and we were able to sit down and watch it, I think, over the weekend. And, 86 hours later, it was over. And
bathroom breaks,
Yeah, that's with 2 bathroom breaks. I really had to go. But no, it was a good, I really think it made the Justice League an awesome movie, as opposed to just something that had, a few cool parts.
Mm-hmm. Made an experience, kind of. It felt like an Avengers experience to me, that first Avengers.
It really did, It had that epic Avengers, Lord of the Rings type feel to it. It was great stuff, man. And, it just sells the case for another Henry Superman movie that we may or may not ever get.
Yeah, and that's a tragedy. I think he's like perfect Superman. Like, he has the looks. Yeah. He looks like Christopher Reeve, and he's just a lot bulkier. And...
So remind me, is it that Warner Brothers doesn't want to make another Superman movie, or is it that Henry doesn't want to play another Superman movie? Because I thought that he was busy with other projects. I think I've read it both ways.
I think he's only been busy with other projects because Warner Brothers keeps kind of like, shooing him away. I think he wants to do another Superman, but I think they don't want to pay him more. I think that was the issue. He was supposed to be in Shazam, I believe. And they ended up having Superman in Shazam, but it wasn't him because they never saw his face. So I think it's just been contract disputes. And so while Warner Brothers was trying to decide, we're going to pay him more or we're going to just do something different, he had to go get, paid, obviously. And I'm guessing, and that's why he's taking up all these other projects like The Witcher. I think he's doing another Enola Holmes film. Yeah, he is actually. That's starting very soon. And I'm thinking what else he was in. Of course, he was in Mission Impossible Fallout. That's when he had the mustache. So that was that whole ordeal. Which, going back, it was so stupid to reshoot, like, most of the film, what we got with the HBO Max one was so much better. It was just like these people in charge just don't know what the hell they're doing. That's the problem, and it's painful that they're still not getting it. I do applaud them for releasing it, but it took a lot of pressure from the fans to do that. And also AT&T was like, hey, we want to make some money. So we're going to do this whether you don't want to do it, Warner Brothers. We're going to allow it to happen. So, if it wasn't for all that, we'd never see the Snyder Cut. And it's just a damn shame because that film alone, it set up so many things. And just things I caught, most people caught, but Steve, you probably maybe caught more. But of course, you got Martian Manhunter revealed. I think New Gods, possibly the anti-life equation, which is a huge story arc, I believe, in the comics. Then you had that apocalyptic future with the evil Superman. And then you had Jon Stewart's Green Lantern. They actually filmed that knowing that Warner Brothers would probably not allow that to be in because they want to do their own thing. So they did it anyway, and they actually did it in Snyder's driveway. It's really cool. He's been sending all these snippets of the captured imagery he did with the Green Lantern. I think that very scene was replaced with the Martian Manhunter scene. Actually was replaced. That's why we got Martian Manhunter twice in the film. But yeah, it was to be played. Jon Stewart was to be played by William T. Carr. He's still an unknown actor, but yeah, he was thrilled, of course, to have that part. And yeah, he was bummed when it didn't make the cut, but he still, he knew the risk of that happening. So yeah, that to me is just, just they set up so many things, and it's silly to think Warner Brothers is like, nah, we're going to set these things up again and pay more money to do so. It just seems really stupid, I think. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on all that? Both of you?
Yeah, their ego. I think they wanted to release the Snyder Cut because they thought it would fail.
Exactly. They didn't even promote it that
their
well.
way of, right, and it was their way of just basically telling Snyder, this is why, the nails need to be put to you, and
yeah,
and have it be over, and then to have it as well received as it was. They went completely radio silent after that, and then they're just trying to squash anything and everything related to it.
Right.
So, again, this is just Warner putting their egos over their pocketbooks again. And they do it all the time. It's at the point where it's not even a surprise anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just all out there on Front Street. Like, you're not even trying to hide your disdain for him, It's like he made you all these hits before, he did 300 and Watchmen, and yeah, it's just like, wow, they just really want to kick him to the curb. I do. I mean, again, I appreciate we got the Snyder Cut. That's something a lot of us here didn't think would ever happen, or if it even existed.
Yeah, exactly.
I do love what you did though, Steve. When you saw the Snyder Cut, do you recall what you told me at the beginning of the film?
I don't. What did I say?
You flipped off the Warner Brothers logo.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did do that.
Well deserved.
Yeah, no shame.
Yeah, Megan, what do you think? You like the Snyder Cut? You think it's a great idea to go in a new direction, or should they have honored some of what Snyder set up?
I completely feel like we should follow the Snyder Cut. It made so much more sense to me.
Yeah.
It's definitely I would have followed that world, but like Steve said, I don't really understand what they're doing or why they're continuing to do what they do.
Yeah, I think all of us are on that page. But yeah, J.J. Abrams, he's signed on to produce the new Superman film. It appears they are going into a different direction. Well, sort of a different direction. I guess they're going to do Clark Kent and Superman, but they're going to make him black. Which, hey, I'm okay with, obviously, but why? Like there's other black superheroes you could approach, like hell, Steel. I love Steel. I would love to see him done justice, in the films. We only got that Shaquille O'Neal one, and that's just, I don't know. Has anyone here seen that one? It's just dreadful.
It is dreadful.
It's terrible. He couldn't even have an S on his chest.
Dream.
Yeah. So, again, it seems like we're going to get a Clark Kent origin. Of course, it's going to be different, I'm sure. They might set it in the 20th century. There's another black Superman in the comics, Calvin Ellis, who plays Val-Zod. And it's still early developments. They could go that route, but for now, it seems they're going to do a Clark Kent version, which I think Clark Kent's, been done to death. If you're going to do another Superman, I really think you should do a different Earth Superman, or like I said, Steel, or any other character like that. But yeah, Tasani Coates, who's written some scripts or comics, for Black Panther, and he's done some other things. He's pinned the right to this, and there's no director so far. But yeah, Abrams is producing, and I think he's going to be producing some other material for the for DC under Warner Brothers. So yeah, it appears Henry Cavill is out as Superman, but who knows? It could be, maybe it won't be well received, and like they're doing with Ghostbusters now, we'll get another Superman movie with Henry Cavill, because that's the other thing that sucks. There was word that leaked that Snyder, for a follow-up Superman film, he wanted to bring in Brainiac, which they've never done in the films, and it would be something so refreshing, because all we get, it seems, is Lex Luthor or Zod, but right. Zod was, I think, done great in Man of Steel. So much better. You got the iconic moments in Superman 2, but that battle, though, that everyone bitches about in Man of Steel was just amazing. Like, it was perhaps too many buildings got taken down, but Jesus, they're two gods pretty much battling in the city, and one's just not going to stop trying to kill people. So Superman did what he had to do. And, of course, everyone's like, pissed about that. Meanwhile, the Avengers can fight all these aliens in New York City, leveling buildings, and nothing seems to get talked about that. Like, they all got out.
Because it's a comedy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I guess that's just what they need, the jokes, right? They just need some jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, yeah, it looks like that's what Warner Brothers is going to do for now. They do, to their credit, they do like Snyder's casting choices. You got Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and of course, is it easy? What is Fisher's last name playing Flash? What's his name?
Ray Fisher?
No.
I'm sorry, I mixed that up. Yeah. Ray Fisher right now. If you look
as Cyborg,
if you look at you should get a Cyborg film because of the Snyder Cut, because you got to see so much more of him. But of course, he's kind of bashed Warner Brothers and accused him of many things. So most likely that's not going to happen. But is it Ezra Miller? Is that right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know why I botched that, but yeah, he's playing the Flash, which they're currently filming. So yeah, they've honored Snyder's casting choices. So it's like they'll go with him at a certain point, but yeah, it's just silly. I am excited about the Flash though, because it seems to be a type of Flashpoint film which we've known for years. But you got Michael Keaton back as Batman. They have the classic Wayne Manor, looks like, from the '89 film. They're doing it justice, so it's very exciting to see that. And Affleck's going to be in that. I really would love to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Thomas Wayne. It doesn't seem like he's getting the call to do that, but that's, again, another casting choice Snyder did, which was great. I thought I was like, man, I'd love to see him in a Batman costume. Like, I don't know why, but I love that concept of Thomas Wayne Batman, because he's the opposite, right? He kills people, he shoots them, he's got guns, and doesn't give two F's, he tosses, his world's version of Harley Quinn right off a roof, and Cyborg had to catch her. Yeah. That would be a shame.
F's given.
No. I would love to see him though suit up. That's just, yeah, man. I don't know if that'll happen, but yeah, they're doing the Flash. So, and Aquaman 2 is starting back up again. But yeah,
is Amber Heard in that?
Yes.
Which, by the way, I think I told you guys that when I saw the Snyder Cut, I didn't mind her anymore because she got rid of that terrible accent that she had in Justice League.
Which was her accent.
Original.
That's her accent. I mean, I don't think she's English. Oh. Yeah, she did a great. Yeah, she did a good English accent, I thought. I really liked that. I thought that was a cool character trait. I thought she pulled it off pretty well. Did you dig the accent, Steve, or did you even catch it?
I didn't even really catch it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. She started talking. I was like, "What?"
One was so bad, and I mean, there was a whole article written about it. It's like, yeah, no, it was bad. Go back and watch the original one, and you'll see the difference. It's terrible. And I actually didn't mind Batman either, or I should say, I didn't mind Ben Affleck either. So,
yeah,
in the Snyder Cut version.
Oh yeah,
I think that maybe the dialogue was better, so it gave it.
Right,
yeah, he wasn't a douche like he was in the Whedon version.
Yeah, he wasn't the Michelin Man either because he actually was in shape. Because they had to pull him out of whatever he was doing for reshoots, and they didn't want to be there. And man, they weren't treated right. And that post-apocalyptic, that scene at the end, I think Joey talked about this when we were reviewing it, I believe. But he made a good.
Confused me.
What, the end scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's basically what the vision Batman was seeing was that end scene where Superman is evil. Joey pointed out, and he might have got it from he's in a group that follows Snyder pretty well, and he was pointing out that Superman at the end of the movie, that might have been Martian Manhunter in disguise, just so he could fly around and all that. So because the way his eyes glowed, I guess, are very different than the usual eyes of Superman. So I thought that was kind of cool, unique point. It'd be good. It's a good cliffhanger, but then you go in the next movie and it's like, hey, it's me, guys.
Right.
But no, I dug it. I dug it a lot. It was really cool. I love the setup, but I mean, that's just the problem with Warner Brothers. They don't have we've said this before, they don't have a Kevin Feige, and Kevin Feige is very unique because, he knows how to make films. He's cut his teeth on making films, and he's learned from his mistakes, and he just uses what works pretty much. And they don't really have that. That's the problem. And I think they put too much on Snyder to develop all that for them. And so, any time they didn't like what he was doing, it was panic, right? So, yeah, it's like that's the problem. They just don't have someone. Maybe they should just get Kevin Feige. I don't know. Call him up. Use an alias.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. Not saying he knows how
late.
to. Yeah, it's too late. Yes. Which he's a Star Trek fan. I would love him to do Star Trek. Like, do that, Kevin. Please. Please get us some movies again. Like, rescue us. But yeah, I'm not thrilled about JJ's involvement. I don't know. I mean, I like JJ, but I don't think he's a great writer. I think he can direct very well, obviously, and I love his choices. I love the first Star Trek film he did, the 09. Like I said, he's going to produce this, so he won't probably be directing. Maybe he will be thrown in to direct. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not happy with his future. I mean, I think we have a Superman right now, I'm just not really interested in seeing another Clark Kent story, It's like, we know that to death, give us something else. Like, if you want to do a black Superman, hey, I'm all for it. Make the story good, but why not Val Zod? Why not approach it that angle? That's a character that already exists in the comics, or Steel, but then you'd have to handle the whole death of Superman thing. So I don't know.
I just think Warner Brothers is creatively bankrupt.
Mm-hmm. You should call him, Steve. Offer your services.
Yeah, me and 8 zillion other people that love them so much.
Yeah. You imagine that writer's room? I'm going to out-nerd you right now.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I agree with you, though, Warner Brothers. I take it, Megan, you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. I don't even think it's about Superman, though. And I've said this in the past that I get really tired of Hollywood in general, just remaking a thing right after we just had one. And then they just go in and remake it again. Yeah,
it's like
with a different actor.
Right.
Different. I just don't.
At least I
don't understand why they
give it 10 years.
That.
Yeah. Why? Especially when you spend the money.
Give it a rest.
What's that?
Give it a rest. Move on. I was just going to say, give it a rest. Move on to something else for a little bit and then come back to it. I mean, it's the same thing over and over and over. And then off of that, you've got all the miniseries that come out too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm burnt out.
Well, and out of all the DC comics, I think there's quite a few more characters, right, Steve? They could probably work with.
There's a whole crap load
already written,
right? And
just adapt
DC
them.
Is unfortunately kind of going down the road of Warner Brothers.
Right,
it's just
hand in hand.
Yeah, it's depressing as a guy who grew up on DC.
Right.
And then to have your movie choices really suck, and then to get a good one, you've had to have fans freaking out just to get it. That's, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm watching old things from the 60s and 70s.
Right. Go back. Yeah.
Are you looking at dirty magazines in the woods?
You already know the answer to that.
Burt Reynolds was so hot.
Is it true that like back in your day, they would like show dirty movies on TV, but it was like botched dirty movies? Like they were all, I don't know if they were in reverse or they were just like messed up. Like they were cut weird. I don't know.
You mean like edited, or you just...
Yeah. Like you could watch them like really late night on television.
Oh, you mean like USA Up All Night?
Yeah.
Oh,
that was in the 90s,
show,
I think.
Cinemax?
Yeah.
They would show, this is not my time. I'm talking like Steve's time. Like what, 70s maybe?
70s.
80s? They were doing that in the 80s?
80s and like early 90s and stuff. Yeah, and you'd have it even on like Cinemax. I mean, they called it softcore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
To where, everything was simulated and...
Yeah, the story sucked. You weren't there for the stories.
Right, and the second you heard a saxophone, someone was losing their clothes. It was all terrible.
That's why everyone wanted to play the saxophone. That works. Huh. That's why you had the Lost Boys scene, the saxophone guy. I think they're actually making that a hot toy. I don't know if you recall
funny.
that. I'd never seen that film, but I know the saxophone guy. Yeah, it's just kind of odd. It's a Joel Schumacher movie, so there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Something good to come out of Warner Brothers, hopefully, with HBO Max. Like, HBO Max is doing really well with, I think, with shows and stuff, and their subscriptions have gone up higher after the Snyder Cut came out, and you had Kong versus Godzilla, and Mortal Kombat, other films, Wonder Woman 84, I believe. Green Lantern, they have announced this a while back. They're going to do a series. So they finally have casted Guy Gardner is going to be played by Finn Wittrock, who is in Ratched, which is a prequel sort of to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Nurse Ratched, sort of. It's like loosely based, on that character or that version of the character. It's a Netflix show. It's really good. It's got a good style. I think, Megan, you've seen Ratched, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
So, the psychopath, her brother in the show, he's playing Guy Gardner. So,
okay, yeah, he's a decent. I've only seen him in Ratched.
Yeah, me too. He's a good actor. Actually, he turned up somewhere else, but I'm like, I can't. It's hard for me to see him play something else now because that was just like, full throttle crazy. Yeah, but he's also going to be back for Ratched season 2, so he's able to do this show as well. So yeah, it's an HBO Max series covering Green Lantern over a series of years, actually. So there is a quick synopsis. So it says, Green Lantern reinvents the classic DC property through a story spanning decades and galaxies, beginning on Earth in 1941 with the very first Green Lantern, secretly gay FBI agent Alan Scott, and in 1984 with cocky alpha male Guy Gardner and half alien... Brie Jarta. Is that how you say that? They botched that, Steve?
I think that's about right.
About right? Good. Yeah, so they'll be joined by a multitude of other Lanterns, from the comic book favorites to never-before seen heroes. Yeah, that looks really... Sounds good to me. I don't know. Are you sold on that, Steve?
I'm excited for it. I mean, I've been a big Guy Gardner fan since the 80s when they revamped his character.
Sure.
And... trivia question: anyone know the year Green Lantern Guy Gardner was created?
Oh.
The year you were born.
The year before I was born. It was 1968.
68. Those are the
So
days.
he's 1 year older than me. But
Wow.
You were in 1969?
I was, yeah, June.
God, my mother is older than you.
Hey, this is episode 169. What connection? I think so, right?
Yeah.
Planets are aligning. That's cool.
Yeah, so Guy Gardner was all the way up until the early 80s was kind of just your white bread Hal Jordan clone.
Sure.
And then like Steve Englehart and Joe Stanton kind of pushed him into this parody type character of, like an ultra macho type, America type guy.
Oh boy. Did it work?
Yeah. And it did. It worked. I mean,
yeah.
People, just started loving to hate him. And, he'd pick fights with like Batman. There's a famous scene in the Justice League where Batman just takes him out with one punch. And
what?
Yeah, and to this day, they still reference the one punch.
That's hilarious.
There was a scene where when Hal Jordan was brought back to life, he knocks out Batman with one punch. And Guy Gardner's in the background, just looks happier than happy, And, but I mean, Gardner today is a much different character. He's not like a total chauvinistic a-hole anymore, But he's still got a pretty awesome attitude, and he's pretty funny. And so I'm excited to see what it looks like on screen because he's an awesome character. Awesome.
Did Hal Jordan come before him or after?
Hal Jordan came before him. Hal Jordan was in the late 50s, yeah.
Okay, so I wonder how they're going to do that, because they didn't even mention Hal Jordan. They're probably just like, hey, we've done Hal Jordan already. We'll figure out another way in, I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, they're probably either saving him for cinema or something.
Yeah, because they're
shelving him for now.
There is another Green Lantern film in development still, I guess. So yeah, this will be produced by Greg Berlanti, who does the Arrowverse shows. But they have more of a budget, so I think it'll be pretty well. I don't know if you've seen the Titans or Doom Patrol?
Yes, both awesome.
Yes.
See, this is the problem I have with Warner in DC is that if it's not attached to the movies, it typically does pretty well.
Yeah.
Like even the animated movies and things that they do are freaking phenomenal.
Right.
And I think that's part of Warner Brothers' whole, no one's going to watch that.
No. I said no. I didn't even turn on that light. What the hell happened? Oh, I'm sorry. I was yelling at the dog and I didn't realize I unmuted.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
I'm so sorry.
Don't come up here, Warner Brothers. Don't do it.
I know. I'm talking about Warner Brothers. She's like, no. All right, I'll stop.
I hate them so much.
Megan's a big Warner fan.
She doesn't listen, so I have to really yell at her, or she just does whatever the fuck she wants.
Huh?
That's awesome.
That sounds like Warner Brothers.
But exactly. So I mean, but that's the whole Warner Brother thing is that they, I feel like if it's not on the movie screen, they just assume that no one gives a crap, and so they don't care either.
Yeah. Right.
And then it turns out to be better. Because they're not dipping their toes in it as much.
Exactly. And if it makes enough noise, they probably would. So thankfully they managed to stay, continuing and not get, I guess, a ton of attention by them. So yeah, because it's beneath them probably, right? It's like, television, animation, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. We'll mess things up here in the films. So leave that to us. But
yeah, right.
Yeah, so this property, I imagine, will be out 2022 or 2023. Probably, I'd guess 2023. They're still casting, so I'm not sure if they got all the scripts written yet, but, special effects and all that. It's probably going to be a while. He-Man, I don't know if anyone here is fans of He-Man. It's very 80s. Steve, did you ever partake in He-Man? You're probably way too old, right?
I was older, so I remember babysitting for kids that were just huge into He-Man, had the toys, would watch the cartoons, and so just peripherally,
yes,
I knew who Battle Cat was. I didn't, I knew who He-Man was and Skeletor, and that was about as far as my knowledge really went.
Right. It had a cool concept, kind of like Shazam. He's a prince, and he gets a sword and he becomes powerful when he says the words and transforms. Kevin Smith, he's been developing a sequel series for a very long time. It's an exact sequel from the 80s show. Animation, of course, is going to be different. It's in the news now because the animation was finally revealed.
Oh, neat.
Very, very impressive. Like, it looks really, really good. It's a Netflix series, and the animation studio is Powerhouse Studios. They've done Castlevania for Netflix. They've done a lot of Warner Brothers, like the movies we were just talking about. They did those, and they did some stuff for DreamWorks. So, yeah, looks amazing.
I wonder what He-Man's pronouns are.
Oh, that's right. I don't know. Them man. I don't know.
Oh, it's in his name. Cool.
Yes. Perfect. Let's hope there's no one complaining. Jesus. Can't have anything. No, but this has got a great voice cast. Mark Hamill is playing Skeletor. And Kevin Conroy, he's also on there. So you got Batman and Joker. Conroy's playing Merman. That's just to name a few of the cast members. But yeah, Kevin Smith's been putting the show together. So this is huge for him. Like, this is probably going to maybe make him more money than his films did. I mean, not all of them together, obviously, but I think this will really put him into the limelight of doing other projects, bigger projects, if you will. So yeah, part 1 premieres July 23rd. That'll consist of 5 episodes. And then we have a toy line coming as well, June 15th. It'll have 6 figures. So it looks great. It looks fantastic. I'm excited. I don't remember too much of He-Man. I was a fan. My cousin had the whole castle and figures and stuff. And they actually have retro figures out now, which are very tempting to get, but kind of expensive for me to... Maybe I'll get it eventually. I don't know. But yeah, I could only get a few figures when I was a kid. I didn't have a lot, like G.I. Joe's. I didn't have much. I never had the great Transformer. I always had the shitty ones. So, I guess now's my chance. I should just go out and buy them. What animated shows from your childhood, let's say, or just ones you like in general that have been gone for a while, would you like a sequel to?
I grew up watching like Bugs Bunny, Flintstones, Scooby Doo, and they do all these things still,
Yeah, they're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry, that just came out.
Right. Tom and Jerry. I liked the Super Friends at the time.
Sure.
When I'm trying to think of something that maybe hasn't ever been remade or maybe it's just been a while, I really don't know. I can't think of anything that hasn't already had an updated treatment.
Right.
There was a cartoon back in the late 70s, the Shogun Warriors.
Okay.
And so this is like Japanese mech type suits.
Oh, sweet.
They weren't Transformers, but they were just like the big mech suits. And that was kind of my early introduction into, anime and that sort of thing.
Right.
But the Japanese anime still uses a few of those characters here and there. So it's
nice.
They're still around, but I'd like to see another Shogun Warriors type. I know it's really, if you Google it, you'll see it, but it's pretty obscure nowadays.
Yeah.
But even Marvel had a comic about it, which was pretty awesome. But
that's crazy.
Man, me and my buddies, when I was in grade school, we would draw Shogun Warriors all the time.
Nice. That seems like ahead of its time for the 70s to me. Of course, animation, you could go
really cool.
all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it was awesome, man. I missed that one a lot. That was cool.
So basically, it's like a bunch of Iron Man suits, right? Sort of people.
Well, they're like the giant ones.
Though. Oh, gotcha. Yep.
So they're like Godzilla size,
Gotcha.
And,
right, like Pacific Rim, right?
Right, exactly.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool. I like that. What about you, Megan? Any cartoons, sequel series that would interest you?
Don't yell at us, please.
Why would I yell at you? Oh, sorry. Not that I can think of. I mean, I grew up I was born towards the end of the 80s and grew up in the 90s. So, I mean, everything that I could think of that I grew up watching, they've kind of already touched. So, that's Power Rangers and Pokemon.
And yeah.
I mean, so.
Well, Well, shit, Pokemon, I never thought that would last, and now they gotta take the cards out of the stores. Isn't that nuts? Like, I think people are getting into fights and threatening each other for them. Like, damn. I can't believe that. Are you one of them, Megan?
No, but had I have known that Pokemon cards would be popular still at my age, I would have kept. I mean, I had a serious collection, so I would have kept them. But I just
you could have
I think
retired.
about those things when you're a kid.
That's insane.
That and Beanie Babies, probably would have kept those too.
Right? If only you knew, right?
I don't know. I really wish they would bring back some of the Nickelodeon shows. Now that I think about it, they had some really great shows.
Oh, like Doug and things like that?
But talking more about like the reality stuff, so like Global Guts and Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Oh, sure. I thought they brought that one back, the Temple one. Maybe not. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things I'd like to see again. There's a cartoon I liked. It didn't last too long. It was called Cops. It was like set in the future. It had really cool characters, I thought. And yeah, I have the whole series on DVD. But really love that show. Yeah, it was fighting crime in the future time. That was a tagline. But it just didn't catch on. I would love to see like a film version of it, but I don't know. It'd probably take me to have to do it if I had like all the money in the world and the talent. I'd probably hire Terrell to do it.
Yeah.
Steve would write it. And then
There you go.
I'd be like, that's very good.
I remember Shia LaBeouf back in the day, back when he was on Even Stevens on the Disney Channel.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well,
Yep.
we've actually, animation included as well, but there's a lot of sequel series coming our way. You got Night Court coming back. I don't know if anyone Night Court fans, probably not. Well, Steve, maybe you liked it, but
Yeah, I used to watch that show back in the 80s.
yeah, Melissa Broch, I think that's her name. She played Jeanette on Big Bang. She's gonna be Harry's daughter in the show, and John Larroquette's coming back. So I really like these sequel series. It's better than remakes to me. I always like the idea of just taking what's been established and just make a continuation. Don't cash in so much on the original part. Like make it from the original, do its own thing. I've heard dinosaurs could be coming back, and other things. So yeah, I'm very excited. So yeah, this He-Man, it gives me hope. If it's well received, I think it will be. Big success. But
Don't eat the baby.
yeah, there you go. Not the mama. Did you like that show, Steve?
Right.
Did you ever watch that show? Dinosaurs.
What was it?
Dinosaurs is all Jim Henson's puppets.
No.
It was kind of like The Simpsons in a way, I think. Like it was adult. They cursed and things like that. So it wasn't just for kids.
Cool.
But yeah, it's I think it's on Disney Plus right now, actually. Our last topic, speaking of Disney Plus, MCU Phase 4, they just rolled out a bunch of announcements, a big trailer that was beautifully narrated by the late Stan Lee. It was really passionate type of speech, he gave. I don't know when he gave it, but it was basically about all his characters, It was very, very moving. They announced Captain Marvel 2, which is going to be called The Marvels now. So that'll showcase Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, an actress named Iman Vellani as Miss Marvel, which her show is being filmed right now, her Disney Plus show. So she'll head into the films after the show is done. And of course, we had, and hopefully Monica Rambeau will be included as well. She was introduced in WandaVision, and she's played by Tiana Paris. So yeah, she's known as Captain Marvel in the comics and Photon, and there's a lot of other aliases, of course. So yeah, the Marvels will probably showcase hopefully all three of them. So it won't just be centered on Carol Danvers. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Are you excited about that?
I'm excited for it all. I mean, I'm looking at the list of films and TV series and all that stuff, and there's a lot that I want to see. But aside from like Shang Chi and Spider-Man, And of course, Fantastic Four when/if that ever happens.
Yeah, that was a tease at the end. I was like, oh, that four means Phase 4, but it also means Fantastic Four, I think. I hope.
Yeah, there's nothing else that if I don't see it in the theater, I don't see it in the theater.
Right.
But those I want to see in a theater or see it immediately.
Yes.
We'll
Batman.
see. But I mean,
even though that's a ways away, but Batman.
Oh, the Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks good
in
too.
Phase 4 now.
Yeah. They bought him.
No, I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about things we're excited to see, not the MC.
Oh,
I mean, we can
MCU.
too. Yeah, we can too.
We can
Sure.
throw it in there.
You're on the
I
right
am excited
show
to see
for
the
that.
Batman, to be honest with you. I want to see that in the theater.
Yeah, that looks good. That looks really good. I don't know when the hell we'll get that one, but I think
Hopefully Warner won't.
Yeah,
Warner it up.
we'll see. Hold on to your butts.
On to your butts.
I haven't been to a theater since the pandemic started, so I'm thinking Black Widow or maybe Army of the Dead will get me back. I'm feeling pretty comfortable to go back now. So,
Man, me and Terrell did a double feature a couple weekends ago. We did Mortal Kombat and Godzilla vs. Kong.
wow,
It was awesome.
that's cool. IMAX?
The Mortal Kombat was in IMAX, and then Godzilla was in just one of the regular theaters.
Nice. Yeah, those are films to see on the big screen. I just watched it on my phone, but yeah, I miss that. I think Black Widow for sure will be my first one back, maybe, or Army of the Dead. That looks like a good. That's the new Zack Snyder film, which I think we'll review next time. Black Panther got a title for its sequel, Wakanda Forever. Very interesting. Ryan Coogler's returning. He's going to write and direct it, of course. And, they're going to have to address Chadwick Boseman's King T'Challa character. Of course, Marvel said that they're not going to recast. I still think that's a mistake, just my opinion. But, I would think he'd want them to continue the character on since there's so much more to tell of that character. Fans are actually, they've started
one movie just doesn't cut it.
Exactly. And I just don't see him being like, Chadwick anyway. I'd see him wanting the character to continue. Like, nothing wrong with recasting at all. It's not going to, a lot of people said, well, he is that part. It's like, true, but, he paved the way. Like,
Right.
I think it's, he passed, right? And I think it'd be unfortunate if his character had to pass too. It's just kind of like a double gut punch to me. But, fans have started a petition, 4,000 signatures so far, to get him recast. I mean, who knows how powerful that's going to be. It's Disney, so we'll see. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if they're not going to recast, like, how do you see them handling it? You think they're going to, the big rumor is Michael B. Jordan will come in and they'll bring Killmonger back. But man, after everything he's done, how do you even be cool with that character? I just don't see it.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea how they're going to approach it, but I mean, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. What about you, Megan? Do you think they should recast, or you think they should just move on?
I never saw Black Panther.
You never did? Everyone else
I
did?
didn't see it. I know. But what I can say, and this is so old, Dumbledore died. The guy
Yes.
who played Dumbledore, he died, and they recasted him.
Right, and he was in books, right? And so is T'Challa.
he was
T'Challa's in books.
The guy, and the guy they got to recast him did great. I mean, he was great. So
I think you should contact this petition group and tell them that. That's good. That's good. It's like a trial can begin here, and we can
but
address this
Dumbledore
situation.
He was just one of many main characters. He wasn't the main character. You had a lot of other pieces moving. So
Right. It just seems too soon to be like, he's gone. He died in the first one. He came back. Oh, spoiler. It's comics. Come on. And then, he was in Avengers, both of those last Avenger films. It's like, now what? Like, is he going to take a sabbatical or something? He's going to go find himself like, Kung Fu or, go to town and get a job or something.
recasted in Fantastical Beasts too, didn't they?
Yeah. Jude Law. Because he had to be younger.
And I don't know that they're, just because they're not recasting him it means that they're not, recasting his character.
Mm-hmm.
The Black Panther, has been a thing passed down from generations to generations. So,
Right.
I mean, there could technically be a new Black Panther, but they just may not be recasting his specific role.
Right. Yeah, I
And
mean,
that's how I'm looking at it.
That makes sense. I don't know anything about Black Panther, so I mean, I don't know.
all I know is the movie basically. Yeah, it's going to be interesting what they do, that's for sure. Maybe they'll go a few years into the future and it's his son, or I kind of like the dude from The Mountain to get it. I think he'd look like a beast in that costume. I don't recall the character's name, but he's the one that saved him, and or his sister Shuri, they said, who's the scientist. I don't see her being Black Panther, but maybe. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. If they're going to try and make Killmonger into the new Black Panther, that's going to be really hard to take, because it's like he killed a lot of people, and I mean, Winter Soldier we accept, right? But there's like, there's stuff to save there. It seems Killmonger was like, nope, I'm just this dude. This is all I'm going to do. But
yeah,
who knows?
It'll be tough to pull off.
Who the hell knows? But yeah, July 8th, 2022 will be that film. Fantastic Four looks like it's teased. I hope that happens. Yeah, that's going to be something special. They can pull that off. I'm sure they will. But yeah, I'm really excited for Fantastic Four. And once we get back into the studio, we need to do a commentary on the Josh Trank's version of Fantastic Four. I think it would be interesting. Not necessarily a movie you can rip apart. I mean, you can, but I liked some things about it. Very dark, let's say, very dark. But it was 20th Century Fox. They did that last film. Fantastic history with Fantastic Four movies. We'll have to get into it sometime. But Phase 4, that looks pretty good so far. Shang Chi, I was shocked. I thought that was going to be a series, but yeah, it's a movie. It's coming out after Black Widow this year, and Eternals as well. That was teased. That looks pretty good. I didn't really show too much of it. I think they'll be fine. I have a feeling. We'll see. But,
yeah, Shang-Chi I'm excited for. The if anyone ever saw Kim's Convenience, the guy who plays the son plays Shang-Chi.
Oh, sweet. Okay. I never did see that show,
and
but
he's a good actor.
I know the other dude from that show who was in Star Wars Mandalorian. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That dude's awesome. I don't know his name, but he's a cosplayer in real life, and he actually wore his authentic gear to Star Wars when he was in the shows, I guess. That's his gear. So that's awesome. That's great. And that's great for both those actors, because I think that show was canceled, sadly. So they have jobs now. So that's great.
Yeah, sadly is right. That was a great show.
That's too bad. Damn it. It seemed like they're canceling a lot of shows that had potential or did. But did that run a couple seasons? Kim's Convenience?
5.
It did. Okay. Wow. I guess I thought it just was in season 2 or so. Wow. Well, that's hell of a run still. So I'll have to check that out. It's on Netflix, right?
It's on Netflix, and
Sweet.
it's one of the best comedies I've ever seen, sitcom wise.
Fantastic. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, man, I got so much to watch. It's incredible. I need to take like a month off and just go crazy.
Don't start it though until you're ready to binge, because you'll not want to stop watching it.
Yeah, thanks for the warning. That's yeah, because I've got a few shows right now, and it's like shit. I guess the kids can watch themselves. I don't know. So cook your own food. Daddy's working. I don't know. Anything to review before we go? I don't really have anything. Steve, you saw Kong versus Godzilla,
much.
Right?
I saw Kong versus Godzilla 3 times now. Twice on TV and once in the theater.
Really? TV's better, right?
Yeah.
That format's much better.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I grew up being a huge Godzilla fan, and I remember the old school King Kong versus Godzilla movie, and it was just to watch it with updated, CGI.
Yeah.
And my concern always going into these monster movies is, we got to suffer through an hour's worth of human dialogue and crap story just to get to some cool fights. Well, they jumped right in. So, I mean, it was quite satisfying all the way around.
They actually gave you what you wanted. I noticed that. Like, yeah, there was still human stuff going on, but it wasn't. It was just like, yeah, let's watch them fight.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
I won't do any spoilers, but the right monster won. That's for damn sure.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, that's I really do applaud them for pushing ahead. Like, I think each film got received pretty well. I don't know if they made like a ton of money, but I'm glad they still did this one because Gods and Monsters was the last one. Maybe it did pretty well. I know this one has, and they're talking about a sequel again. So you've got I think going back the whole franchise or in this world, let's say you got Godzilla, right, and you got Kong, Skull Island, and then Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and then Kong versus Godzilla.
And all of his, all the monsters in the Godzilla universe, like Rodan, Ghidorah, and Mothra. I mean, they've crushed it. I mean, they've just done such a good job with it all.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, we would have had this years prior if the 97 one worked out, I guess, but that was probably a good thing because that was like a lizard, right? Were you a fan of that 97 attempt?
Godzilla.
He kept saying that in the theater at the time. This isn't Godzilla.
It was like me flipping off the Warner Brothers logo. I'm flipping off the screen the whole time.
Right. Like, what the hell is this? When's the real movie going to start, guys? Come on.
Name it another monster and I would have loved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Right. Yeah. Well, it's a nice box set if you think about it, these films to have, eventually. So it's very exciting. Bryan Cranston was in the first Godzilla. That was cool. That was really good character and shocking turn of events there. But
the first 5 minutes of Bryan Cranston in that movie, I'm like, this is the best acting in any Godzilla combined up to this point.
Right. Yeah. With all due respect to Raymond Burr, right? Or Burr, whatever his name was. Perry Mason. He was in one of those, wasn't he?
Yep.
Burr,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
The very first one.
Was he? That was in the 50s, right? That came out in the 50s?
Yeah, and it was the, they had the Japanese version, which is way better, and the American version, which has Raymond Burr.
Oh, really? So it's the same film, but they just inserted an American dude for America?
Yeah, they changed a lot of different concepts in the American version. The Japanese version is a lot darker.
Shit.
And talks more about the effect of the nuclear piece of World War II and stuff. So, of course, United States didn't want to have that in their film.
X-nay on the nuclei. No.
Right, exactly.
Nuclear good.
Yeah.
We're trying to put these power plants in, damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious. Yeah. Oh, geez. Great show, everybody. We'll be back, of course. I'm Josh.
I'm Steve.
I'm Megan.
Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.